Right. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll do two sums today. That's a forex sum and a revolving facility sum. And also, I have given you a handout outlining some indirect facilities. Go through that, and I will explain slightly with regard to advance payment guarantees and shipping guarantees there, which I have noted. Shipping guarantees, of course. It's important that you need to know the detail of the shipping guarantee concept. There were one or two instances that they have questioned also. In the meantime, before I forget, try to correct these past papers. I'll put on the Maggie board also. The March 16, September 16, September 17, March 18 and September 19, and March 18 and September 18 and September 19. So try to fish out these past papers so that we could, do few questions in that. I'll put what the past paper that we needed in the board, so that if you can correct it and if you can confirm after one or two sessions that you have corrected the past paper, so I can, straight away hit the question without typography the same question and put it into a presentation. Right. So I will put that in the board. In the meantime, take the revolving facilities assignment 3 and forex assignment 2. Forex assignment 2 and the revolving facilities assignment 3. Those are the two past paper assignment which I have selected two questions and I intend doing. Right. Right. March 16, September 16 and 17, March and September 16, September 17, March 18, September 18, and September 2019. Those are the past papers that you need to collect and keep it. There are interesting questions, so that there are repetition stars in other past papers, so that of doing not all the past papers, at least few questions from all the past papers that I intend doing after covering the syllabus. So in the meantime, you have to collect these past papers. I'm not quite sure what is the criteria of collecting the past papers now, whether you can download and get it printed or whether you need to purchase from here. Of course, you need to find out. And these are the past papers that you need to do this thing. So perhaps next session or in the session after next, I will check up with you all whether you have collected the past papers, so that ad hoc basis I can fish out a question and do it. Right. Now, take the revolving facilities assignment 3, question number 1. Revolving facilities assignment number 3, question number 1. Name of the customer is Robert Limited. Name of the customer is Robert Limited, right? In this question, I don't see much of a difference or variance, but there are certain things, final points you need to do. A similar question being, you will see in the September 19 and the September 18. I'm not quite sure whether it's September 18 or March 18. Either way, it's 18, 19. The same question, or more or less the same question, being repeated. with different names and the denominations. But it's the same pattern and the same variance that you see compared with the other questions. Right. So we'll see how we're going to tackle that. Right. We'll take a little time to read the question, and you read with me. You are required to structure a package of financial facilities to be extended in Sri Lankan rupees for the purpose of serving this order, and indicate the basis on which revolving credit limit for the facility was computed. Assume the rates of exchange are $1 is to LKR 100, €1 is equal to LKR 150, because there are two denominations being given, US dollars and EUR. Right. So, Robert Limited, your valued customer, has negotiated an order for exports of certain goods to Germany amounting to euro 400,000 to be shipped every month, payable on 30 days DA terms from the shipment date. Right. To manufacture the goods for each shipment, Robert Limited will have to import two kinds of raw material, A and B from Singapore. Raw material A has to be imported under documented credits payable at site, and raw material B has to be imported under documented credits payable at 60 days from the date of shipment. For each export down, that is the import leg, only continuing getting. For each export shipment, the value of the raw material is 250,000 of A and 200,000 of B. Import receipts have to be issued for the minimum of value covered to raw material required for single shipment. The custom duty and carrying charges of each shipment is $10,000 will have to be paid on arrival of goods. The overhead expenses and other charges will be $50,000 per each month, payable commencing the date of arrival of goods in Sri Lanka. The LCs for the import of raw materials A and B have to be issued 2 weeks before the date of shipment. For the import of raw material A, minimum order value 500,000, but there is no minimum order for the raw material B. It takes 2 weeks for the shipment date for the goods, and the export them will be 3 months from the date of raw materials are received in Sri Lanka. Right. So that is the storyline. So we'll try to draw a timeline now. Right. So there are two raw materials. On this timeline, raw material A has to be imported on the documented credit payable at site. Right. In the third paragraph, it says the LCs for the import of raw materials A and B have to be issued 2 weeks before the date of shipment. Right. So this is the point. You have two LCs, A and B, and these two LCs being opened 2 weeks prior to the shipment date. 2 weeks prior to the shipment date. Right. So we'll see what A and B is. Raw material A, second paragraph. Raw material A has to be imported on documented credit payable at site. So this is site. And the raw material B has to be imported on the documented credit payable 6 days from the date of shipment. So this is 60 days. In other words, it's a use of LC from the date of shipment. Date of shipment. Right. Now we have to put the values of the LC. Right. That comes in the third paragraph. For each export shipment, the value of the raw material requirement is 250,000 A and 200,000 of B. Those are the value of the requirement of the export. But there's a minimum qualification given in the next paragraph. It says the LCs for the raw materials A and B have to be issued 2 weeks before the date of shipment, that we have plotted already, and it continues and saying For the import of raw material A, the minimum order value is 500,000. So A has to be open for 500,000. $500,000. And there are so minimum order for the B that have been mentioned, right? If they are not mentioned, you have to assume there are so minimum order for the B, right? And therefore, for B is $200,000. Right? Then overhead expenses and other charges will be 50,000 for each month payable commencing the this is so overhead, those charges will be off the Q item. So we are not going to forget that, but not plotting in the timeline, but we will handle later and try to grant a short-term loan for that matter. Right. And paragraph before last, that is the AC for the import of raw material A and B have to be issued for 2 weeks before the rate of shipment. For the import of raw material A, minimum order 500,000, but there is no what you call minimum order for raw material B. It takes 2 weeks for the shipment date for the goods to export them. Right. It takes 2 weeks for the shipment date for the goods and export them will be 3 months from the date of raw materials received in Sri Lanka. There's a little bit of a missing in the phrase, but we'll assume that it will take further 2 weeks to receive the documents and goods. So we get the documents plus the goods, that is 2 weeks for the shipment date. And after that, it will take 3 months. 3 months for the raw materials to get assembled for the export. Right? So the export bills are getting purchased for the value of Euro 400. First paragraph, $400,000. And it says 30 days for the date of shipment. 30 days for the date of shipment. Yeah. So now here it says here will save is January. Now, if this is January 1, this is 1st February. Because that's only 2 week gap here. A 2 week gap is 4 weeks, and we have an assumption 4 weeks equal to 1 month. Therefore, if this is 1 January, then this is 1 February. Right? But here, see the tenor of the user says see, they are given us from the date of shipment, not from the date of receipt of documents. So date of shipment is 15 January. 15 January. Now you get a fraction of a month. Now that's the variance you find in here and also in the 18 and the 19 past paper. Right? So here then you have to mark as half of January or 15 January. 15 January. 15 January, right? So that is the only thing that you need to understand. And the T accounts are getting slightly complicated, not complicated, there's a little bit of fraction of a month. So if you can, figure out properly that, then you are through. Right. Now we'll take the site AC. One more thing I forgot to tell you. The site AC, in the site AC, that is with regard to the importation of raw material A, requirement is only $250,000, and they have a qualification of 500,000. Even though the requirement is only for 250,000 worth of goods, the supplier says, no, you have to open the AC for 500,000. So there's a qualification. So to denote the qualification, so that you will not forget, just say Q, or you can use your own symbols. Right? So that means you have to open every other month the LC. Right? So here we say LC nuisance. It's not a nuisance, sorry, site site LC for the raw material A, right? I'm putting this to explain to you so that you will understand. But in turn, you need copy to the examiner because he doesn't regard these. But only thing you need to draw the timeline and the TA counts so that the base of calculation will be easy. But if you can find another method, it's all right, right? So 1st January, you open LC for 500,000. Make a comment if you do not understand, right? In the first step, because I have done this question, similar questions, right? But if in case you have forgotten or if a person is listening for the first time, then you have to make a comment on that. As far as possible, I will try to repeat and try to simplify. Okay, 1st January, you open LC for 500,000. Then in February, you need not open because the goods related to 500,000 LC will be suffice for 2 months of exports. So therefore, next LC will be in March 1st. Right? So the April there won't be an LC. So after that, you will be 500 in May. So like that, you can see the pattern of the LC outstanding getting open every other month. Now we see what are the outstanding remaining in here so that we could structure that we can give the customer so that he can operate the LC outstanding within the stipulated structure of the limit. To earmark the limit, you need to see when the documents are coming. So documents are coming for the LC being open for 1st January after 1 month's time, that's in 1st February. 1st February, documents are coming. 1st February, documents are coming. So when the documents comes, what happens? LC outstanding get depletes because LC outstanding is a negative figure. It's a debit balance. So when there's a credit comes in, it depletes. Outstanding depletes, right? And when the outstanding depletes, the indirect liability converts into a direct liability. Now we have a bill outstanding. Earlier we had a LC outstanding. That has got transferred to bill outstanding. But since it is a site LC, we don't give a credit limit or a facility for the customer to enjoy. Site means he'll be demanded to pay. So therefore, straight away we will have a loan account. Short-term import loan. Short-term import loan. Right? And when the loan getting debited on the same day when the documents are received, that is on February. 1st February. So next document, the March LC, March LC, the document of March LC will receive in 1st April, 1 month after that. How do I get this? By transposing January to March. Transposing January, 1st January to March. So when you put March 1st here instead of January 1st, this becomes April 1st. So that's why I put 1 April. Like that you can figure out the other ones also as well. Gap between LC will be 1 month. So the next loan account will be 1 April. Right? I'm doing the facilities, 2 facilities together, right? Last time I did 1 and came to the loan account. Now I'm doing the 2 facilities together. So once you practice over and over again, say that you have done 25 times or the about 50 times of this evolving sums. I'm not talking about 50 sums, right? Different sums. If you do 50 times of even one question or various of questions of 5 questions, about 50 times, you can do all the facilities and finish it off and then start writing the base of calculation. But you need to focus well and do the facilities and earmark the facilities. Right? Maximum time will be 30 minutes for this. 30 minutes. right? So you try to speed up yourself and keep a time tag. See whether you can draw the timeline. You have to read. You have to think. Draw the timeline. Draw the dates. Write the business calculation. Do this thing and go through once and see whether all the facilities are intact. Go to the rough sheet paper and see whether all the accounts have been created so that they will not miss a single facility scores, and to do everything, see whether you can, do it within 30 minutes time. Right. So once again, LC being open every other month, January, March, April, value of the LC is 500,000. But if you read very plainly, it's actually 250,000. But in the next paragraph, it says the qualification of the 500,000. That's why I put 500,000 here. So I have brought this in there, and it's a site LC. Most of the documents come. You need to give a. You have to tell the customer to take the documents away. So for that you need to grant a loan, and on 1st February, loan account get kicked on the that is for 500,000, and the next loan will be granted on 1st April. Then in 1st June, like that it goes, right? Now see, when the export bills are getting purchased, exports are getting bills are getting purchased in 3 months time from here, right? That is 1st February, then March, April, May. First May. So 3 months from February will be May. So 1st February is 1st May. So this loan account get wiped off in 1st May. But we will not know what the amount will come and realize in the nostro account of ours as export proceeds. So therefore we need necessary to balance these accounts, right? And we are not transferring any carry forward balance to the balance sheet. This is not an account sum. So we will say here export bill purchase. Export bill purchase proceeds are coming and hitting in 1st May. 1st May. Literally, if you put 400,000, it's not very correct because foreign bank charges and other handling charges will be deducted and sent across to the bank. Right. So we on the same side, you just say export bill proceeds are received in 1st May. So until 1st May, you can see what are the how many loans you need to get, you need to grant. Right. That we will visualize later. Now coming back to the LC outstanding once again. I'm going to get a feedback from you, so just listen carefully, right? Now LC outstanding in 1st January is 500,000. End of January also 500,000. 1st February. In 1st February, right? What is outstanding in here? 1st February. This will go off. 1st March. What is outstanding? In this side there are 2 LC outstanding, 500,000 twice. And with the February one, the outstanding will be remain for 1. So likewise, you visualize very carefully. Now the way that I'm telling you, sometimes for some students will not go right correctly at the same time. So adapt your own method and see why I'm saying that there's only 1 outstanding in here. Just strike off the balances where you find the right hand side to the left hand side, but it's not only the amount that you need to concentrate, but the month also as well. Month also as well. Right. So 1st February one cannot be strike off with the 1st March one. Right. So 1st January and 1st March will be 500. When the 1st February comes, this goes off, March 1 remains. So likewise, you see LC outstanding at any given time until this the cycle completes any given time. There's only 1 outstanding remaining. That is in US dollars, and to convert into LKR is 100 rupees. Then you get the value LKR 50 million. This is a site LC limit. LC outstanding 60 million. Right. So uh, now you can take the base of calculation, refer to the earliest sums, and write the base of calculation. For this base of calculation, you get 1 mark addition. Why? The logic that you are going to put is you are saying since the minimum qualification is 500,000, minimum qualification, rather minimum requirement of the LC, minimum requirement of the LC is 500,000, despite the requirement of the export is 250,000. Robert Limited will have to open LCs for value 500,000 every other month. For that sentence, you get 1 mark, right? So refer to the earliest one that I have dictated and go to the base of calculation. And if you write that, you get additional 1 mark. For this calculation, you get 1 mark, and that will be altogether 3 marks. 3 marks, right? There's a SIL account, that is a short-term import loan account. Loan account of the BFC is the same manner, the way that the documents are received. Documents are received every other month, and the loan accounts are getting debited every other month. So first February there's a loan, first March there's a loan, first May there won't be a loan, but first June there will be a loan. Every other month. But we'll see whether it's going to happen indefinitely every other month like that. Customer will say, I need loans every other month. But the bank will say, no, first February export prices are coming, rather first May the export prices are coming. So therefore, this and this will go off, right? That's only one outstanding. One outstanding, right? For the next slab, you get 3 months from April. 3 months from April means May, June, July. So that and the July one will go off. Again, that's only one outstanding because this and this will go off. So therefore, the loan account also there's only one outstanding. 500,000 into 1 at the rate of 100, healthcare 50 million. So you can manage that toss as well. Right. When I say manage, you can write the base of calculation and the what you call the facility also. Right. And again, loan account getting debited at the time the documents are received. So documents are received 1 month of the rate of LC, 1 month of the rate of LC, but the LCs are open every other month. So therefore the documents are coming every other month. According to the loan account also getting debited every other month, but the export prices are received 3 months from the receipt of documents, 3 months from the receipt of documents. So therefore, short-term import loan, bank has to grant a short-term import loan for one import shipment. One import shipment, right? Same thing you need to copy from the previous one that I have did. Right. Right. Now, next facility is the export bill purchase facility. Export bill purchase facility. Export bills are purchased 3 months from the date of receipt of documents on 1st May. 1st May, right? For how much? For 400,000 euros. It is not dollars, euros. Euros. Right? And the tenor of that is 60 days. Look at the sum. It's 30 days. 30 days for shipment. Right? 30 days. So 30 days means 1st May. That will be 1st June. and we are getting the realized export proceeds in June. So therefore, 1 month the export bill purchasing will be outstanding, and therefore the bank has to purchase export bills at least for one export shipment. So 400,000 into 1 at the rate of, I think, 150 in there, and it will give LKR 60 million. LKR 60 million. Right. Now, that part is right? So I Rashid, you will have a double check, and if there's an issue, just let me know. I was not concentrating very much on the final answer. I was just rushing because in the site test there were no any variations except for the fact that there's a convocation. So you can refer the earlier sum that I have went very slowly and gave the ways of calculation. Same logic applied to which on your own refer to the site testing. Now see the user says that is the issue that we have now. This issue, user says this type of sum we have not done. Right. So I will go through on that and I will give a base of calculation. And the similar sum, if I doing next time, I will rush in the same pace. Right. Now look at the user says User says 6 days for the date of shipment. That is the only the botheration that we have. Usually it's from the date of site or from the date of acceptance. So no problem. We can calculate the maturity date from the receipt of document. But in this case, it's from the date of shipment. So we need to calculate the date of maturity from the shipment date. That's also we will not have a problem because as far as we can identify what the shipment date as a whole month. But here it's only 2 weeks. Whole month is not there. So it has a fraction of a month or a half of a month. Right. That is the only catch we have. Right. So we draw a T out. Hope you are drawing with me, right? And this LC is a user's LC. And for the raw material B. Raw material B. User sales, that this particular user sales will not have a minimum order. So periodically, that is monthly, the LCs are getting open. So 1st Jan, we will have a LC open for $200,000. And 1st Feb, $200,000. March, $200,000. Like that, it goes on. Document for this LC also will be received in February, in 1st February. So you see, the LC is outstanding for only for 1 month. Only for 1 month. Right? So therefore, the limit will be revolving facility for this LC will be 200,000 into 1 at the rate of 100. That will give you 20 million. Right? So you can take it down. I'll double up a little bit. You have to take up quickly. You say the facility is the earlier one you need to do, the site facilities you need to do. I just keep a space or do it later and take down this facility as a user sales facility. User sales facility. Hyphen in parenthesis B. That's the note, the for raw material B. So the examiner knows that we have separated the LC facilities from site to LC, site to users. So you are combining the limit and then giving to the customer. We are separating the two limits, right? Say, name of the customer is Robert Limited. Okay, Robert Limited. will have to open and use an LC. Robert Limited will have to open and use an LC. Will have to open and use an LC. Payable 60 days from the date of shipment. Payable 60 days from the date of shipment. To the value of US dollars 200,000. To the value of US dollars 200,000. Yeah. This LC will have to be opened 2 weeks before the shipment date. This LC will have to be opened 2 weeks before the shipment date. It will take further 2 weeks to receive the goods and documents. It will take further 2 weeks to receive the goods and documents. Therefore, this LC will be outstanding for 1 month, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. Outstanding will be 1 month. LC outstanding will get null, no sooner the documents come, right? So that's why I said, therefore, this LC will be outstanding for 1 month. 1 month, right? So I explained towards from a T account, but it's very straight away you can understand, right? So therefore, revolving users facility for this purpose is equal to LCR 200,000 into 1 at the rate of 100, 200,000 into 1 at the rate of 100, further equal to LCR 20 million. It's very simple, and by now you should be able to write with a continuous flow without thinking, and it will take maximum of 2 minutes. Maximum of 2 minutes, right? Now see the acceptance account. Now you know very well if there's a user says having an acceptance account is a must. If it's a site LC, there's no acceptance account. That goes without saying. Acceptance takes place only on a bill of exchange, a term bill of exchange. Term bill of exchange are drawn only on users' transactions. It could be a collection, or in the case of a LC, it's a user's LC. So therefore, acceptance word come only associate with the users, right? So we'll see the behavior of the acceptance account now. Acceptance account. when the documents come on 1st February. So the acceptance account will get born in 1st February. What? Right? Next document will be in 1st March. Right? After that, it will be 1st April. So you will see, starting from 1st February, monthly documents are coming and getting hit the acceptance account. Right? When the acceptance account getting inflated, LC outstanding gets depleted. So when the LC outstanding gets depleted means, that means the limit of the LC, there's a leeway to accommodate further LCs for the customer. Right? So that the customer operates with the limits now. Right. When it is getting matured, 60 days from the date of shipment. So 6 days from the shipment is 15th February. So 16 means 2 months from 15 of January means is 15 of March. Right? By in the usage, you might tend to do it here as if it's 1st March. Or you might do a mistake of calculating 60 days from 1st February because that is the usual scenario. You calculate maturity from the date of receipt of documents. But here it's very clearly states the tenor is from the shipment date. Shipment is a 15th Jan and therefore it matures in 15th March. Now you see here there are fractions. That is the only what you call not a difficulty. That's the only difference you see from the other side. And here you have to work a small adjustment in the base of calculation to please the examiner. Right? Technically, right? If you are doing accounting of activities, technically you give a fixed limit for 1.5 months. But in practice, we don't do that. Right? We don't what you call fixed limits for 1.5 months. We always give for whole month. So therefore, 1.5 months will be rounded up to 2 months. Right? That part we need to mention, and for that effort you get additional 1 month. That's the only thing you find in this sum and also in the 18 and the 19 paper. If you have the question paper, you just go to it's a similar what you call sum being perhaps taken from my assignment, right? So we'll take down the acceptance facility. Acceptance facility. Say, bank has to grant an acceptance facility. Bank has to grant an acceptance facility since Robert Limited opened an usance LC. Since Robert Limited opened an usance LC. So when a customer opens a usance LC, there are two limits. So he has to provide collateral for two limits, right? Two limits. One is the LC limit and for the acceptance limit. So that's the additional sentence that you need to mention, the thing that I said now. And you say, shipping documents are received. Shipping documents are received. I'm just looking at the timeline and telling you that, right? Shipping documents are received 1 month after the date of LC. 1 month after the date of LC. Shipment is effected. Shipment is effected. Two weeks after the date of LC. Two weeks after the date of LC. Since the tenor of the user's LC is, since the tenor of the user's LC is, since the tenor of the LC is 60 days from the date of shipment. Underline the word date of shipment so that the examiner will know that you have caught the vital point of it. right? Since the what you call tenor of the user says is based on the date of shipment, right? Of shipment. The bill, that is therefore the user's bill will fall due for payment one and a half months, right in this way, 1.5 months, 1.5 months, 1.5 months from the date of receipt of documents. From the date of receipt of documents. Right? Went off a little bit. What I said was, now from here, 6 days are not counted. 6 days are counted from 2 weeks before. So the 15 January, then somewhere here, it comes as 15 March. So the gap between the receipt of documents and the due date is 1.5 months. 1.5 months. So here 1.5 months, up to here, it's another 1.5 months. That's how the 3 months have come, no? 1.5 months. Right? So when you are giving a limit, we give for 2 months. 2 months. Therefore, now take it down. Therefore, the bank will round up. Round up. You know what is round up, right? Round up. Bank will round up. Round up. For 2 months. For 2 months. Bank will round up for 2 months. Right, full stop. So you are getting an additional mark for that basis of calculation. Therefore, revolving acceptance facility. Therefore, revolving acceptance facility is equal to revolving acceptance facility for is equal to LCAP 200,000 into 2. That is 1.5 months round up, right? Round up at the rate of 100. LCAP 40 million. LCAP 40 million. Right. So we'll have another loan account now. Loan account. Loan number 2, we had earlier loan number 1. When the loan account getting granted or when the loan account getting debited in 15th March. 15th March. Right? If you have a real knack of accounting, even with a sheet of paper, here you can say narration loan. But those are not necessary. Right? But if you have a habit of what you call drafting quick way of T account, then it will have a consequence of the loan account. Here you can say acceptance account. So I'm not worried about those things, right? But if you want, you can do it then. So SIL account get debited, that is the short-term import loan account get debited in first 15th of March, and the corresponding credit has gone to acceptance, right? Right. 15th of March, uh, 200. Next will be 15th of April. Now, don't do the mistake of saying 1st March, 1st April like that, right? Now, we have a different date. Other one will be 15 May. Right? And the export position will get purchased in when? In 1st May. 1st May. Export bill purchase. Export bill purchase. Now you see, the 1st March, 15th March one is outstanding for 1.5 months. After 1.5 months, you get wiped off. April 1, 15th April, after 1.5 months time, that is on 1st June, it will get wiped off. Right? So therefore, the loan account will be only for 1.5 months. 1.5 months. So you work out LC, 1.5 months. Round up, it is for 2 months. Right. So write the base of calculation. Short-term import loan. Short-term import loan. For the purpose of retiring. For the purpose of retiring. Users import bill. Users import bill. For the purpose of retiring. So same caption you need to mention for the site import bill loss as well. Site loan, site import bill to retire. And this same loan account is also given to retire, but of course to import users import bill. Right. So next part what I'm going to do is say the import bill falls due for payment. That part will we wrote in the earlier facility, right? So we'll repeat that. The import bill will fall due for payment. Due for payment. Due for payment. One and a half months from the 1.5 months from the date of receipt of documents. Right? 1.5 months from the date of receipt of a document. Export bills are purchased. Export bills are purchased. Export bills are purchased. Three months from the date of receipt of documents. Three months from the date of receipt of documents. 3 months from the date of receipt of documents. Therefore, loan account will be outstanding. Loan account will be outstanding for 1.5 months. For 1.5 months. For 1.5 months, right? 15th March, 1st May, what you call the purchases are coming. So they will be outstanding for 1.5 months. 1.5 months. Right? Therefore, bank will round up. Therefore, bank will round up and grant 2 import loans. No, it should be the other way. The bank will grant import loans for 2 months. Therefore, bank will grant import loans for 2 months. Underneath, therefore, the loan outstanding will be 200,000 into 2 at the rate of 100, it will get 40 million. Right. Now take the Forex assignment 2 and question number 5. Forex assignment number 2, question number 5. And before hitting the Forex sum, let me know whether the Forex facility, the revolving facility you understood very well now. Give me a feedback, a couple of years, more than a couple of years if I get, I'll appreciate. Otherwise, I may do 1 or 2 sums again. So let me know whether you're comfortable with the Forex sum and give me a feedback quick as possible before I do the Forex sum. We missed the, what you call, the clearing charges and the other thing that I will do before Forex one. I forgot that. In the meantime, I need your, what you call, your feedback. Right. So I will do the, what you call, these charges also. Take back the Robert Limited question once again, and we'll consider the paragraph 3, where you stated with regarding the custom duty and the other expenses. The custom duty and clearing charges for each ship purchase 10,000 and will have to be paid on arrival of the goods. Right. So the timeline I'll draw again. This where the AC was, and there was a shipment here. 2 weeks, and the dock receipt date is here. Stocks and the goods at 2 weeks. And we had two ACs, A and B. A was a site AC, but with a qualification, and B was the user sales. Right. So we had this one was 1st January, this one was 1st February. So we'll cover the number of shipments that we received, and the export bill per proceed 3 months from the 1st February, that will be 1st May. So this is the sketch of the timeline again. Right. So from 1st February, raw material B being cleared every month. That is one shipment in February, another shipment in March, another shipment in April. May the rest are coming. So we are not going to give any loans for import clearances for B. So there will be 3 clearances. In case of A, there won't be what you call clearances every month, right? In case of A, there will be a clearance in February. There won't be a clearance in March, but there will be a clearance in April. And there won't be a clearance in May if there's even export bill persist will take care of it, and it will be only 2. Right? So all in all it will be 5. All in all it will be 5. So custom duty clearing charges for each shipment is 10,000. So that will be multiplied by 10,000 and converted into rupees by 100, and you grant a short-term import loan. Short-term import loan, right? That will be 50,000 into 100 will be 5 million rupees. So base of calculation you can manage that. I think. Right. Then the next one, the overhead expenses and other charges will be 15,000 for each month payable. Right? That is something different, right? Overhead expenses and other charges will be 15,000 for each month payable, commencing the date of arrival of goods. So how many months there are? 3 months. Right? February, March, April. May documents are coming for 3 months. Multiply by 15,000 at the rate of 100. Then you get 4.5 million. 4.5 million will get. And you grant a short-term loan for that. That's all. Right. Now give me a feedback before I move to the forex stuff. Right. Let me know a feedback from you with regard to revolving facilities. I'm asking this. Are you comfortable with the revolving facility sums? Or you think that I need to do one more sum? That's what I'm asking. If you say yes, then I will do a sum, leave the forex sum aside, and if time permits, I will do a forex sum until you say that you are comfortable with the revolving facilities. If you say yes, straight away I will do the forex sum. And on and off, if I have the time in future sessions, I will do at least one revolving facility sum, because we have other areas also as well. I need to start the UCP also as well, no? Because of that. Now, give me a feedback quickly. Right, I got one feedback. I got okay. I got two feedbacks, rather four. Better if we can do one more. Shall we do another sum? Yes, sir. That was from Sashidi. Moderate understanding. Right. So I will take the majority of the request. That is that I'll do one more sum. Right. Not a similar sum. Right. Uh, Similar sum you will get in the past paper. I will do one more sum. Wait, I will choose a sum value. Mm, right. Take this revolving facility one. Revolving facility one. Question number 6. Revolving facility one. Question number 6. Right. Thank you for the feedback. I need that kind of a feedback because especially this kind of a session through online, otherwise I will not get a feedback, neither face reading. So that is one of the disadvantages you find in this kind of method of teaching. The reason why I wanted to have a feedback from you all. Better if you can have a voice retrieval, but then still even uh, even if you make a comment on the chat, even doesn't matter. Right. Question number 6. Revolving facility one. The customer Evans Limited. Evans Limited. Right. Read with me. Uh, your valued customer, Evans Limited, secured an export order for the supply of certain goods to the value of $350,000 each month to a buyer in USA. In order to manufacture required goods, your customer will have to import two kinds of components, M and P. Evans Limited has contracted with the supplier to purchase M on site NC terms and give us the details of that, right? The cost of M required for foreign export shipment is 180,000 and the cost of P is 100,000. The minimum order for P is 200,000. So qualification is incorporated in there. So those are things that should come into your mind straight away, right? So you have done the qualification LC source as well now. Fine. So clearing charges and the wages, we are not bothering to read now. Now see, even I missed the clearing charges last time. So you don't miss that like the way that I missed. So make sure you adapt the system in a timeline or somewhere so that you will not afford to miss the clearing charges. Right. Next important sentence is the time taken to manufacture goods and export them will be 2 months. And also find out whether it's a rupee facility or a foreign currency facility, whether the customer is enjoying FCB facility or in the DBU section. And here they have given a converted rate there, 100 LKI to $1. So therefore, you have to place the limits in rupees, right? So straight away we'll draw the timeline. I will give 1 or 2 minutes. Draw the timeline and see whether you can draw. I'll give 1 or 2 minutes, and you, if there are any errors, you can correct it while I'm drawing it. I'll give a little time for you to draw the timeline. See whether you can draw it. Right. So there were two LCs being opened, M and P, right? M and P. But here there's a small catch. These two LCs are open on two different dates, right? So likewise, you get here and there changes, right? Even the examiner or the paper setter will change. Otherwise, what happens? In customary, you put the two LCs together and the whole thing go haywire. At least one set of facilities will go wrong. Right. Here, the LCM has to be issued, reading the fourth sentence in the second paragraph. The LC for M has to be issued 6 weeks before the date of shipment. Right. So this is the LC. M is open. Now this is the shipment date. Shipment date. And 6 weeks prior to the shipment date, the LCM is open. And also it says in the earlier sentence, LCM has to be M1 LC terms, site LC terms. Right? Right. LCM has to be open, issued 6 weeks before the shipment, and the LCP has to be issued 2 weeks. 2 weeks prior to. So this is LCP. Right? It's a nuisance LC. 30 days it says. 2 weeks. The shipment date. This LC is open 6 weeks prior to the shipment date. This LC is open 2 weeks prior to the shipment date. Right. The cost of M required for one export shipment is 180,000. And the cost of P for export is 200,000. And the minimum order P is 200,000. Right. So you have to be careful here. It is 200,000 here. Right? LCM over 6 weeks prior to the shipment date. It's a site LC. And the value of the LC is $180,000. And for the raw material P, LC will open 2 weeks prior to the shipment date. And the requirement of the raw material is only 100,000. But you have to order minimum, at least minimum 200,000. Minimum order will be 200,000. And it will be multiples of 200,000 otherwise. Minimum of 200,000, not 100,000. So therefore, you need to remember this particular LC will be open every other month. This LC is open monthly. So that's where you know arrange your situation before drawing the what you call the T's, right? Then we have the trailing charges. Then it says the time taken to manufacture the goods and export them will be 2 months from the date of components are received in Sri Lanka. Yeah, before that we need to find out when the documents are received. So we did read that. This is the second paragraph itself. In the last sentence, it says it will take a further 2 weeks for the goods and the documents to receive. So for the shipment date, it will take further 2 weeks to receive documents and goods. So we'll note down on that also. Right. Remember once again, if the sum doesn't state that the goods and documents are received at the same time, in this case of course is there, you make an assumption both goods and documents received at the same time. Right. So time taken to export them will be 2 months from here. So therefore, at that point, export bills are getting purchased from the bank. And the value of the export bill is $350,000 from the first paragraph. This is, and the tenor of that is DA 90 days. So from here, again, it will take 3 months to get the realized export proceeds. Right. Now we'll plot the what you call the months. Now say, we'll say this is January. January, 1st January. If this is January, after 6 weeks, we do not know where that is, but this is 6 weeks, this is 2 weeks, that is 8 weeks. So that means whole of 2 months. 6 weeks, 2 weeks is 8 months, 8 weeks, that means 2 months. So 2 months from January will be 1st March. 1st March. So this is 1st March, right? So here now again, from here to here is 6 weeks, from here to here is 2 weeks. Therefore, this portion will be 4 weeks. So 4 weeks is a whole month. So if this is January, then here is February. So actually the second LC is open in 1st February. 1st February. And it takes 2 weeks to receive the shipment, right? Fortunately, it's a user's LC all right, but the tenor is not calculated from the shipment date, but from the receipt of documents. Why I'm saying that? It says P, second paragraph, it says site LC, and P on 30 days user's LC terms. When it says user's LC terms, means it's with indefinite, but it is not specific for the shipment date. So therefore, you need to take from the receipt of documents. So 30 days are counted from here, not from the shipment date. So we need to worry about plotting the month or the particular date to the shipment date. I'll tell again, this LCP is open 6 weeks prior to from the shipment date. This LC will be open 2 weeks prior to the shipment date. So obviously, gap between the two LCs will be 4 weeks. That is, if you open LC this month on a particular day, after 1 month on the same day will be open the next LC. So have a little bit of stare on the what you call in the time that which I drew now, and see whether you can understand. Right? Once I finish it. So 1st January here, 1st February here, 1st March in here. 2 months from March will be April, that is May. That is May 1. May. So 3 months from 1st May will be June, July, August. So 1st August. Timeline is completed. Right. So I'll give 1 minute to understand the time limit now. Right? What you call the timeline. If you can understand the time now, here the difficulty is in the timeline, not the sum. So if you understand the timeline, you are going to tell me yes. Right. I'll wait for a while. You can have a stay on the Maggie board or but you have scribbled just now and just tell me whether you understood. Yes, thank you, Pradeep. I need one more. Yes, yes. It's like arithmetic, not a difficulty. Right. Vishwa, you also thank you. I need more. Gerald, yes. Anybody else like to comment? Take your time, take your time. Don't worry. Take your time. Yes, Nalaya. I hope that I am pronouncing your name properly. Tashini, yes. So, any notes or halfly understood one? Please do comment. Don't be shy. That is why I'm here now to simplify. Because if you understand well, you attempt well, and that will be good for me also as well to my past rate, right? Right. I hope that everybody understood. Anybody did not understand properly, I can repeat. Or at least tell me that you need one more, what you call once more that I need to explain. Still, you can go ahead and say yes. Otherwise, I will proceed from here. Right. Now, Patu, for what you said yes, understood properly, or you want me to repeat again? Right. So beyond the safe side, I will repeat again, but in a little bit of a pace here. Now remember, there are few. Uh, there's a good comment. Wait, I can't read that properly. If you can explain roughly once, yes, I understand that. Will be great. Don't worry. It's not a big effort for me. Uh, I like that kind of comments actually. Okay. Anyway, if you don't say even I wanted to explain further. But before that, I want to tell you when you are reading this sum, I of course have read this many a times. Even today, I read that game. So therefore, there are certain ingredients in my mind. So it's very rare that I might tend to overlook something which is important. But now only you are reading perhaps, right? Uh, so therefore, there could be a little bit of tendency at the exam also, since you are getting the question at a fresh, that certain things which is important and the examiner is waiting until fall into trap that you might miss it. So there are certain ingredients in here that you need to. Yes, Patu, I understand you. I will repeat that again. Uh, in the meantime, there are a few things that you need to remember here, right? That is, uh, the minimum order thing has to be grasped very thoroughly, right? It has to be grasped very thoroughly. What is this minimum order and the requirement, right? That is one. Then you will figure out how many. Before that, everything you need to figure out what are the how many raw materials are there. If there are two raw materials, it is very likely the payment methods of the LCs are two. There won't be two site LCs, two ASUS LCs, right? So there won't be a question then, no. So there will be a site AC and a user's AC. If it's a user's AC, give a little bit of a what you call a focus on see what the tenor is, whether it's from the site, from the date of receipt of documents, or whether there's any other term that you have to think of it. Especially if there's a tenor being given from the shipment date, you have to be a bit careful, right? Then you have to draw the timeline perfectly. Drawing the timeline take a little time. I'm not talking at the exam, right? I'm talking about in here. At the exam time, you can't, think and do the circus. You have to somersault it at a flow. So therefore, now when you're doing the timeline, take a maximum time for the timeline and see whether it's perfectly right. So what I'm doing is actually, I'm plotting this sum to a dimension called the timeline. That's all. Time against the transaction. So I'm throwing this away. So that is the next one, right? The other one is, you see whether there are any cumbersome areas, hindrances, obstacles while you are drawing the timeline. You get fractions of the earlier sum, we had fractions. So those are little bit of botherations. So you have to do it more and more and make those tough ones very easy. That is the secret behind these things, right? You need work in the corporate planning or trade finance division to understand this kind of structuring. If you apply yourself nicely, a little bit of there's no lot of technical jargon here. It's just common sense you have to apply. That's all. Only thing you need to remember the cycle of the uh, transaction. You open the LC, then the documents are coming, then the loan account get created, then the bill purchase get created. That's how the what you call the timeline goes, right? Now here, in the same lines that I said, there are two raw materials, M and B. So soon you see the raw materials, you try to figure out what are those raw materials. One is have to be open on the site, other one is on the users. So when it's users, you immediately check what is the tenant is. It's 30 days user, so you jot down here 30 days user. Otherwise, you say date of shipment, right? 30 days user. After that, you concentrate on the amounts. It says site 180 days. Here only requirement is $100, $100,000. But there's a minimum order for $200,000, $200,000. So thinking there's a little bit of a what you call logic that you need to give. You just put an asterisk in here or some kind of a commonly used symbol on your own capacity. That's right. I always put asterisk. So you know why I put asterisk, so that you will not forget when you come to T account that you have some kind of a thing to refer if that's the case, right? In this case, why I put asterisk is ACs are open every other month. So we didn't come for that year. Then after that, you read the thing and see if the timeline could be plotted very neatly and accurately, right? MLC has to be open 6 weeks prior to the shipment date. You have put a shipment date here. 6 weeks before that, you open a LC. That LC is M, right? The next LC is open only 2 weeks prior. So obviously, between these two, it's only 4 weeks. Yes, 6 weeks. Taken out 2 weeks, balance will be 4 weeks. Now you are in a comfortable state because 4 weeks is the whole month. Now you can plot it very neatly. So if this is January 1, this will be February 1. I have put that, no? 1st February. I put it in here. 1st February. Right? So you need to worry about here. Then here is 4 weeks, and here's 2 weeks. That is 6 weeks here. Here 2 weeks. The whole area is 8 weeks. So that means here January is March. 8 weeks means 2 months. Right? 2 months. From here also you can take it here. From here to here is 2 weeks. From here to here is again 2 weeks. Again 4 weeks. That's 4 months. So if this is 1st February, this will be 1st March. So you can develop your own system, right? Without making halves, and halves. You can, take it on. Otherwise, a lot of students tend to mark 6 weeks from January. So I don't know how we are going to put 6 weeks here, right? And then the next is easy. 2 months from March will be May. 3 months from May will be August. 3 months is the tenor of the export bill. 2 months is the time taken to manufacture and export them. So the only thing that I think bothers you is this part, right? And see, now you can you are very clear on that, and I need a quick yes so that I could proceed with it. Right. So, Pratham, I think you understood, no? You had a little bit of a doubt here and there. And so you need to do a lot of, not lot in the sense you have to apply your own self sometimes. The way that I am telling you may not be the easiest way that you could understand. You might adopt a different system. That's how I learned actually. And you might think that is very much better the way, more than the way that I have told you. So adopt that system, it's all right. But the base of calculation and the method, you have to stick the way that I'm telling you, right? Right. So this is the only catch. After that, it's very easy, right? So we'll do what you call the facilities. We'll try to see. If time passes by, we'll do the forex sum next week. LC M. It's a site LC. No qualification, it's a plain sheet. Amount is 180. Right? So, first Jan, you open LC for 180. First Feb, you open LC for 180. When the documents are coming in March, 1st March, until such time the documents are, two documents are outstanding. That's been 2 months outstanding. And therefore, revolving LC facility will be 180,000 to 2 at the rate of 100. Right? That is 36 million. 180,000 into 2 at the rate of 100, that will be 36 million. So base of calculation, no problem for you. I will rush the base of calculation since it will come to device. I do not know when you are having the facility of recording, but then I will tell you in a quick pace, that is, this LC will be open to import of raw material M. Name of the customer is given here. Evans Limited will have to open a site LC for value $180,000. This LC will be open 6 weeks prior to the shipment date. Will take further 2 weeks to receive documents and goods. Therefore, the LC will be outstanding for 8 weeks or 2 months, right? So you need to say 8 weeks. Therefore, the LC will be outstanding for 8 weeks with the parenthesis for 2 months. Therefore, revolving LC facility is 180,000 into 2 at 100, that's 6. Right? Is it difficult? Okay, you take it down there. I don't think it's difficult. You say to import raw material M, Evans Limited will have to open a site LC to the value US dollars 180,000 monthly. To the value US dollars 180,000 monthly. This LC will have to be open 6 weeks prior to the shipment date. This LC will have to be open 6 weeks prior to the shipment date. And it will take further 2 weeks to receive the goods and documents. And it will take further 2 weeks to receive the goods and documents. Therefore, this LC will be outstanding for 2 months. 2 months. 2 months. Right? So it's a very simple explanation. You will get 1 mark for that base of calculation, and underneath you say, therefore, revolving site LC facility. Therefore, revolving LC facility site is equal to US dollar is equal to LKR. Is equal to LKR. 180,000 into 2 at the rate of 100 further equal to LKR 36 million. right? Now this is site AC. There will be outstanding, all right, but there won't be a bill outstanding facility for the customer. So straight away we'll have a CIL account, meaning short-term import loan account for the raw material name, right? So this loan account will get debited in 1st March. You didn't say 1st March or 2nd March, you are getting fractions in here. 1st March, so that will be 180. In April, you get another loan will get granted, likewise get granted. In May, another loan will get granted 180. Likewise, it goes down, and we have to see how many times that we are going to keep on granting loans until the export bills are purchased. Export bills are purchased, not that the time the export bills are realized and comes and hit the bank account, right? Export bills are purchased. So that will be done in 1st May according to our timeline. So that is why now everything is based on the timeline. So therefore, you give a little bit of weight for the timeline. It's no harm of checking twice or thrice or 4 times or 5 times and see if the timeline is perfect, right? So if timeline is correct, then you can have a confidence in the timeline, right? Now, 1st of May, you get the export bill purchase proceeds, right? So until May, you have two documents, with 2 import shipments. So that will be again LKR 180,000 into 2 at the rate of 100 will be LKR 36 million. Right. Now take it down the base of calculation. Short-term import loan for the purpose of retiring site import bill within parentheses M. For the purpose of retiring site import bill in brackets M. In brackets M. Right. Shipping documents are received drawn against site AC, drawn against site AC 1 month after the date of AC. 1 month after the date of, sorry, not 1 month, 2 months after the date of AC. Date of AC is 1st Jan, documents are released 1st March, right? 2 months after the date of AC. 2 months after the date of AC, not 1 month, 2 months. It will take further 2 months to receive purchase export bill proceeds. It will take further 2 months to receive purchase export bills proceeds. Therefore, bank has to grant short-term import loans for 2 import shipments. For 2 import shipments. Underneath you say, therefore, loan facility for this purpose loan facility for this purpose is equal to LKR 180,000 into 2 at the rate of 100, further equal to LKR 36 million. 36 million. Right. Now we'll have the export bill purchasing facility. Account checked. First export bill is purchased in 1st May. May for how much? For $350,000. Until when? Until 1st August. Until August. In August, export bills are getting realized. Export purchases are getting realized. So what the bank will do? Bank will clear the export bill account, purchase outstanding because it's a debtor, it's an asset to the bank, to clear and debit the NOST account of a bank. NOST account got credited from the overseas bank, from the issuing bank, from the importing country. So it goes in there. So we'll debit the NOST account and credit the export bill. So export bill will have a wiped off. It will be wiped off. That's how it happens, right? So we are worried about, not worried about that. We are worried until when that we need to keep on purchasing. We had to purchase in May, we had to purchase in June, we had to purchase in July. We need not purchase from August onwards because purchases are getting realized. So 3 months from starting from May, that is May, June, July. The other 50,000 into 3 at the rate of 100. 105 million. Right. So next facility is export bill purchasing facility. Export bill purchasing facility. Okay. Evers Limited. Evers Limited apostrophe S. Evers Limited. Export order is US dollars 350,000. US dollars 350,000. Tenor of the export bill 90 days. 90 days. 90 days. DA. Tenor of the export bill 90 days. DA. Therefore, purchased export bill will be outstanding for 3 months. For 3 months. Therefore, bank has to grant export bill. Therefore, the bank has to purchase export bills at least for 3 export shipments. At least for 3 export shipments. Underneath. Therefore, the export bill purchasing facility will be equal in LKR You have a 50,000 into 3 at the rate of 100 was equal to 3 plus 35 is 105 was equal to okay, 105 million. 105 million. Right. Now we'll have the LC users for P. LC users for P. Now there's a qualification. So qualification can be seen here as well. Right. Now you know what is the qualification is now. So first LC is open not in January, but in February. Now that's another common mistake. After visualizing everything and drawing the timeline, still you commit a mistake of putting 1st January here. This LC is open in 1st February. 1st February. So to avoid that kind of a mistake that you happen, if you get a thing like this, up to now they are not given, but in my assignment you find, if you get like this, you make your own method so that when it comes to what you call the T account, will not commit a mistake. Right? So here is 1st February, not 1st January, yeah? 1st February. How much you open? For 200,000. Right? And March, you don't open an LC. So that means we are thoughtful of this particular asterisk. So I will take it off. You can't do that, you can strike off. 1st April. 200. That will be 1st June. 200. So every other month there will be an LC because of this minimum qualification. Right? When you open the LC in 1st February, documents are coming in anyway in March. So they will be outstanding only for 1 month. 1 month. You see? So visualize this very easily without a strain. You need to have the timeline. But the sum doesn't say anything more a timeline. Right? So this is the only catch here. If you write 1st January, rest of things will not be checked. They know that you have done a mistake genuinely, but that will not retract marks. Right. Now, the ways of calculation, you have to make sure that you write, not for you to understand, but so that examiner will not get confused the way that you are writing the base of calculation. Right? So, take down the base of calculation. Caption will be LC users facility. Within parentheses, P. LC users facility. LC users facility in parentheses C, parentheses P. Right. To say to import raw material P, Evans Limited will have to open and use and sell C. To import raw material P, Evans Limited will have to open and use and sell C. And use and sell C. And use and sell C. Although the requirement of the export for this raw material P. How we are writing raw material? RM. For this RMP, since there's a minimum order, to the value of 200,000, this usance LC will be open every other month. In other words, the alternate months, right? Every other month. Right. This LC will have to be open. This LC will have to be open 1 month after the 1 month after the site LC being opened. Site LC being opened. Right? 1 month after site LC being open. 1 month after site being LC being open, you are opening this. Right. Therefore, documents and goods will be received one month after the date of LC. 1 month after the date of LC. One month after the date of LC. Therefore, this LC will be outstanding for 1 month only. Therefore, this LC will be outstanding for 1 month only. Therefore, the revolving LC facility is equal to LKR 200,000 into 1 at the rate of 100. Was equal to LKR 20 million. Right. We'll have a look on the acceptance account. This acceptance account will get debited in March. 200. Next debit will not be in April because that's an alternate month. So LC open in February, documents comes in March, 1 month. Within 1 month, documents will come. Next LC will not be open in March because of that minimum order, but in April. Documents will come 1 month after April, that in May. So May, you have to give this acceptance. Now you see the export prices are coming in May. In May. So that means there's only one outstanding. Right? So that is 200,000 into 1, and then become 100 is 20 million. Right? So say acceptance account. I did a small mistake in explaining it here. I will correct that while I'm giving the what you call in doing the place of calculation. There's a small mistake in here. Just strike it off and draw a new acceptance account. Acceptance account getting null, not at the time of export bills or proceeds are received, but at the time the user's bills falls due for payment. That is a mistake in there. So this acceptance account will be outstanding in March until when tenor is 30 days. Users means 1 month from the date of receipt of documents. 1 month of receipt of documents, right? That will be 1st April. 1st April. Right? March documents are coming. 3rd day from users is April. Right? So you can manage the base of calculation for that acceptance account now. And the amount will be 200,000 into 1 at the rate of 200,000 into 1 at the rate of 100. That will be 20 million. So base of calculation you should be able to manage. Right. Loan account only the one that I want to tell you. Loan account, SIL account. We have to take it down, SIL account for the purpose of retiring user's bill within brackets P. Time of now, I am taking 1 minute again. The SIL account gets debited in 1st April. 1st April. And the what you call the export bills are purchased in 1st May. So this will be outstanding for 1 month. 1 month. So therefore, you have to grant import loans at least for 1 import shipment. Right? So therefore, it will be 200,000 into 1 at the rate of 100, 20 million. That part you can take it down. Right? So if there's any confusion or this thing, you can tell me. And now you can give me a overall picture of the revolving outstanding without taking that much of a time. It's exactly 3 o'clock from my time, of course. So if you can give me a good feedback now, I'll be very much appreciated. Not that I'm going to stop the revolving LCs, so that I can concentrate on a different area, then come back again and refresh your mind. For the moment, I need to stand and see whether these revolving LCs are gone perfectly right for the students. Right? Right. That's a very good feedback and a very quick feedback. Understood, clear, right. Thank you so much for Patum, and all the 4 of you in here. And anybody, at least one person want me to do it again, so that I will make a point or remember at least and do it one more round again to next time. And otherwise, you do the Forex sum and come, and with you I will try the Forex sum again. That is the question number 5 in Forex assignment 2. Right. So everybody understood, I presume. So I will take leave now. See you on next Sunday with the Forex sum. Attempt and come the question number 5 from the Forex assignment 2. Forex assignment 2, question number 5.